one of the things that is very interesting is how I warm my dog up is in training is exactly how I do it in a trial. Like, there's a guy named T. Floyd, he said, hey Joel, can you warm my dog up before a trial? This is in protection. So I said, yeah, so I'm warming the dog up. There's a guy after him, he said, hey, can you warm my dog up too? And I didn't know. The guy said, sure, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know, I've never done it. I'm like, this is your first national event. I wouldn't warm him up today if you haven't done it in training. You know what I mean? So a lot of people switch the day of the trial different than how they train. So me in tracking, what I do is I plots my dog, I stretch my line out. So the mood is very important. A catchphrase that I use is rewarding mood is just as important, if not more important than rewarding behavior. What do I mean by that? Picture my dog's on a long down. How do I want my dog on a long down? More subdued. If my dog's holding their plots and they're like, and I come up and reward them, I might be rewarding a hectic mood. So in tracking, I stretch my line out, I give them 2 pieces of food, so they know we're always tracking, that we're not going to this park to play ball or whatever. I want to see them calm down. So I do that every time in training. The day of the trial, how long might your dog be sitting there before you start your track? I mean, if it's a long critique, that dog bobbles on the last leg and the judge is giving him a lot of chances, you might be having your dog plots for 5 minutes, 7 minutes before you actually start your track. So it's good to kind of do that in training, practice that. Sometimes, I know in a perfect world we all track with somebody. I like somebody walking right next to me. Sometimes they're quiet and sometimes they're loud. Like a good example was when I was competing in Indianapolis, the practice tracking grass was over my head. I didn't even know they had grass like that in America. It was like elephant grass. The actual trial was up to my chest and chin. So the judge, he was an Italian guy, he said, I'm sorry you guys, I have to walk right next to your dog. So we did a side transport the entire track. He said, I can't see your dogs. So he had to actually like walk right next to my dog. So at times it's good to have people walking right, because that can happen. It has happened to me. Another thing is, sometimes I like to be very quiet. I correlate it to this. Have you ever like gone to sleep in the summertime with that fan on? I sleep with a fan on. And that first winter or cold night, and you turn the fan off and you're like, it's awfully quiet. So sometimes I like my track layers to, the person walking with me to be talking. And another time I like them to be kind of quiet. Because sometimes quiet can throw them off just as much as talking. Where they're like, it's awfully quiet. So it's important, I think, to mix it up, because you can have some judges that are jabberjaws on the track to the track layer. There's one judge in America, the entire track, he's talking to me as the track layer. I mean, talking, laughing, everything. I don't know if he's just becoming senile or if he does that for a reason. But then there's other judges that are very quiet, so I like to kind of mix it up on that. One of the things with tracking is, I always say you cannot teach your dog to track. You cannot. You can teach your dog how to teach itself to track. What do I mean by that? If a dog's nose is about 1,000 times stronger than me, I have no clue what you're smelling here. I can only teach you how to teach yourself. So what am I in charge of? Wind direction, the bait, length of the track, design of the track, article placement. I'm in charge of things, but I have to teach them how to teach themselves. So a phrase that I like is, if I never ask them, I heard this from a lady in California, and I like the phrase. She said, if I never ask them, they'll learn to never ask for help. So in a trial, I don't want my dog to look at me and say, where am I? So I like my dogs to be very subdued in tracking, very quiet, and kind of like when I talk about moods, my children in a stained glass church in Europe, their mood should be very different than an amusement park. So in tracking, I want my dog to be very quiet in a subdued mood. In obedience, I want my dog to have good harmony, and in protection, I want them to have good aggression. So I'm looking for all 3 moods. One of the things that I do, here is my schedule getting my dog, because I'll be entering in national with 2 dogs. I treadmill my dog 5 days a week, 7% incline. So 5 days a week I'm treadmilling. I ask for barking 6 days a week. That's for the cardiovascular, I'll explain that. I track, I like to go 4 times a week, but in reality I've been going about 3 times a week, because I try to get 4 times a week. I do protection 3 times a week. So I'm constantly with my dog, and I need my dogs in 3 kinds of shape. One is the elongated muscle shape. That's running 6 blinds. So, like, if you ever, like trial, when do your dumbbells take place, your 40 points? After all your foos, after your 2 recalls and 3 retrieves, you know, so their tongue is starting to get long, and that's when you see the grip start to loosen. So I need them to be very, very quiet in my dumbbell. So I was just showing, in fact, the people you were mentioning, Peter and Cheryl, I was just mentioning this to them. I had my dog literally, and next time you see them, you can ask them, literally bark 300 times. My dog Ark, he barks 100 times, then 50, then 50, then 50, then another 100. So I had right around 300 barks.
Barking's a lot of cardio for them?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, that really gets them out of breath quickly. And then I went and did my dumbbell. I said, no, watch. And you can see him breathing. I said, I want to discipline my dog with they're in so much shape that dumbbell is not rolling, not moving, so I teach them the command quiet. So quiet to me, when I teach my dogs quiet does not mean barking. Quiet means find a place and be still. So if you see my dog on a long down and they take a hip, you'll see me say quiet. Somebody once said, well, he wasn't barking. I'm like, it's not. Quiet means find a place and be very still. On my dumbbells, you'll hear me say quiet. You'll see it when they're biting the sleeve, right there, quiet. So like if I brought my black dog here and I gave him a sleeve bite, he would lay here and you'd hear him breathing. That's the discipline I expect all my dogs to lay down with the sleeve in their mouth, understanding the word quiet. So I teach quiet with the ball, but if my dog's hectic on the track, that's what command I use. Quiet. So quiet means be still. Don't be like in a crazy mood. So you can change the mood of your dog just by a cue. A lot of people misunderstand what I think is the cue. What I do every time in protection, when I get my dog out of the box, out of the truck, I say, where is he? When I say where is he, you'll hear them back there barking. Doo, 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 doo. So where is he is a mood of aggression. If I plots my dog and I show him the ball twice, they know we're always going to do obedience. If I give them 2 pieces of food in the crate, and then I take them out on the tailgate of my truck and I plots them, I give them 2 more pieces, I let them go potty, I stretch out my line, they know we're always tracking. So I have certain cues that I'm always doing to change their moods. Does that kind of make sense? I start with a puppy. So with a puppy, I think but I start with a puppy real quickly on getting those kind of shape. So in tracking, I need 600 paces of in shape focus. Hopefully 1200, 1500 if I'm getting ready for FHs or whatever. So have you ever taken like a long college entrance exam or something, and at the end of the exam you're mentally tired, but you're also physically tired? So the tracking shape is completely different than treadmilling shape. I can have my dog in the best shape in its life, but if I have a different kind of in shape, so the 3 shapes I need is my treadmilling that I do. That's where they can run 6 blinds on a big field and then come in and bark 70, 80 times. He didn't ask for a lot at the FCI championship. I don't know if you saw this, very short barking. When I was in Germany, they weighed me over on bark 60. That was Arnold, and it was 102 times in the blind he barked and 250 in the trial. That's a lot of barks, 250 in the trial, where he has to now maintain his grip, even though you just ran 6 blinds on a big soccer field in Europe, and you're now coming in the blind and doing all this bark, so now you have to think. So I asked for the treadmill shape, I asked for the cardio shape, which is a lot of the barking, and then my focus shape, where I'm doing these tracks where they learn to actually focus on the task at hand, even though they're tired. Any questions on that, on tracking? Now, when I walk my dog to the track, even with